Hey, what's up, buddy?
We are live
We're live.
for
All right.
24 seconds. It's sure looking like it. Here we are, guys. A little bit of a shotgun start here for the prop stars. It is
Yeah.
November 4th. It is a very exciting week. Happy November, everybody. We're glad you're here and tuning in. Make sure you get us out there, like and subscribe. TJ, we had a crazy Game 7 World Series. Honestly, 6 and 7 were amazing. Football was nuts. There's all kinds of things to talk about, but let's give the greatest Game 7 in World Series history that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Let's give that some respect. Let's talk about it. Obviously, Dodgers went into Toronto down 2-3. I know not a lot of people even thought they had a chance to win 3 games, let alone on the cusp of a championship against such an elite lineup. Take it from there.
Yeah. I mean, it was Scherzer came in and did what he did. He balled out. The intensity was there. Bichette starts off the game with start in the 3rd inning, I think, right?
Yeah.
He went in and hit a bomb and kind of got all the juices flowing. They both teams came out, I felt a little tight, right? And then it was just a chess match from there. And it was just cool to see. I mean, where do we start? Rojas didn't hit a home run off a right-handed pitcher all year. Hits that home run, makes that play in the infield where it was kind of crazy because like he had to like stay down on it.
Yes.
And the infield was in. And because he wanted to stay down and make sure he caught it, he kind of like it hurt his core and it kind of got him off balance. And he still had to make the throw home. I mean, you're talking
and you could tell he kind of palmed it. It wasn't the cleanest throw. It was like it
was miraculous. And it's like you literally play your whole life for that play. And he made it after he hit the home run, after he made the tag or the game before the double play on when Kiki Hernandez caught it's just I never thought that we'd be saying Rojas was one of the integral pieces that won it for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like we said, if it was America versus Canada, but I found myself rooting for Toronto because I hate how the Dodgers cheated the system. But it doesn't take away from one of the most intense MLB series of all time. Yamamoto pitching the day before, comes in and goes lights out.
That's unbelievable you could do that. And like you saw that when he pitched the day before, they capped him at like 90 something, like it was like 96 pitches, knowing that might be the move. They're like, oh yeah, we're rolling him out tomorrow too. And we're not thinking that. We're like, okay, yeah, good job, Yamamoto. And he comes back out and they trot him out. He gets the bases loaded, right? Just to get out of that jam. And on that play, and you're talking about the Rojas, I know that it was so crazy because watching the replay of the home plate tag, it was 3 different results, and I saw it 3 different times. It was like the first time, you're like, oh, he's definitely out. And then the second time you see Will Smith's heel come up, and like, it's so crazy because he's leaning out to make that catch, right?
Yeah.
And, in softball, obviously, not nearly as intense. But I've played the position a little bit, and you're sitting there and you're leaned out and making sure that you can catch that ball because you know that he's definitely coming in. He's just right there. And for the fact that his heel comes up, and then I was like, oh, he's definitely safe. They're about to win a World Series. And then like the slow motion to see it come back down before the foot comes in. I was literally in shock. I couldn't believe. I was like, oh, he's out. And then the life is there. So, Toronto is this close from winning a World Series. Not even a millisecond, a microsecond. If he's safe, it's over and it's game.
It's unbelievable.
I just can't believe that they were that close to winning a World Series.
Home plate, as we know, I'm stating the obvious here, but people don't think about this when they watch. Home plate is the only base that's not elevated.
Yes.
Right? So it's the hardest base to slide into. It's also the hardest to keep your foot on it. I mean, you know what I mean? Because you got to kind of keep it. You can't anchor it. And it was just crunch time. There was when Bichette hit that home run, you just kind of felt like Toronto had it. The Dodgers had no life after that for 3 or 4 innings, and the Blue Jays were just rolling. And then what happened? Then Muncy hit a home run. And then obviously Rojas hits the home run. And then it's just, I mean, the way the stars shined, like with Vladdy Guerrero coming up at a big at bat and hits a double. I mean, it was just the reason why it was great is because we saw some role players step up to be amazing, but we also
Yes.
saw the stars shine. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero and Otani put up historical numbers, right? And it
Freddie
was
Freeman, just another
Freddie Freeman.
clinching World Series performance. And it's so nuts, man. I told you, I'm happy for him to get the rings and to earn them over there in LA. It's just really salty for me to see one of my favorite Braves all time just out there, just living this whole second act that,
Yeah,
he's out there in the sunset, man. What a great guy. Couldn't be happier for Freddie. And man, it sucks being a Braves fan, watching him win all those rings. That's for sure.
yeah. Um, the Dodgers MLB is going to start getting a little more interesting, right? I know they
Yeah.
say we have one more year before everything gets blown up, and there'll probably be strikes and it'll get ugly. I'm excited for a Yankee fan, but it was just cool. The storylines, MLB is trending upwards, right? And
Absolutely.
that's all you ever wanted. I don't really think anybody really had the Blue Jays pegged going into this year with a real chance to win it. You know what I mean?
No, and you know
Just
what was
because
crazy is I felt
yeah,
like after they got to Snell in that first game, like Snell came back out like you know how it is. We've seen the good and the bad of Blake Snell. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you could tell that they had his number. They had him
yeah,
dialed in. They were all over him, and I think that they were more surprised about that. You know,
yeah,
and for Toronto to be just absolutely so close and to see just the general public and the reaction and just the whole outcome of that game watching it live, it was historic. I'm happy for all the other players. Kind of crazy Otani gets another ring. We were talking about all that money that the Dodgers have produced just off of ticket sales and marketing from Otani, and here he goes again getting paid $2 million a year.
yeah.
Just take down another ring. What a
I
crazy recap for baseball, man. I'm just still it's almost like a little bit shocking, even though you expected the Dodgers to win. I still feel shocked that they did somehow come back from six, to win game 6 and 7, to be down a couple of runs, to be in that moment where Will Smith hits the go-ahead home run again. You know the Will Smith story. I know you talked about it amongst our group chat. Will
yeah,
Smith has won a World Series the last 6 years in a row, right?
yeah. It's crazy. Not always the same Will Smith, but yeah, a Will Smith has won it because there was a relief pitcher. It's cool. It's Will Smith is one of those guys. He's been doing it for years, man, and he just has. I feel like Will Smith's one of those guys that if you shook his hand, he'd like break your hand. He just looks like he's kind of like a bulldog up there, and
Absolutely.
that roster is, I mean, since the
That
time
wasn't even Will Smith's like that wasn't a huge at bat, but he already had home runs before whenever they won like games like 4 or something like that. I mean,
yeah, and I
dude had an
recall
incredible series again.
I'm pretty sure he had a bat in extra innings too, where he hit like a towering fly ball that everyone thought was gone in like the 16th inning or something, and it was caught up against the wall. I mean, the guy's just tough as nails, crunch time, and it was just crazy to watch just the theatrics and the drama. It wasn't just a game-winning home run. All the little intricacies of baseball, and if
Yeah.
you understand every one of them or you don't, you could just appreciate. Like Barbie's right next to me. Like this is crazy. Like there's an intenseness, and it kind of brought it brings families and friends and group chats and everything together. That's all
Yeah.
you. That's all, I when I'm watching golf or I'm watching sports, sometimes Kate and or my family, who you're rooting for if it's not one of your teams. I'm like, I just want to see I just want to see a good ending because
Yep.
if you ever played sports or if you ever had an intense moment, when you get nervous, there's pressure. And that when
Right.
pressure is you want to see these great people, perform under pressure, right? And it's just you can't imagine the intensity
Yeah.
of that unless you're there. And the great athletes are able to kind of block it out, and
Yep.
just perform like usual or rise up. But
Yeah.
I
So
think
that laments the Dodgers dynasty. right? So I mean that wraps that up, and we'll see what they look like going forward because it doesn't look like they're going to be slowing down too much, especially with that payroll. They got money to spend, money to blow.
Let's get into. I'm still checking ESPN's fantasy app.
Oh my God, you want to talk about this story? I can't even believe this.
They still haven't
Updated the touchdown yet.
updated the touchdown yet.
So
But,
there's a game last night.
The Twitter world is blowing up. The X world is blowing up. Everyone's flipping out on social media because the Dallas Cowboys, we'll talk about the game, but fantasy-wise, the Dallas Cowboys blocked the punt for a touchdown, right?
That was their first score of the game.
Yeah, it was their first score of the game. And don't get me started on their first score of the game. Also, we're going to talk about that because it should not have been their first score of the game. And I do think some of these head coaches have to start taking a little bit of accountability and just, hey, the riverboat gambler, I like to take chances. You're costing your team games. You're costing me 20 grand in survivor pools. It's getting real fucking annoying, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But ESPN fantasy app, people that have $1,000 leagues, Bitcoin leagues, it's crazy. Dallas, they still haven't given credit to Dallas's defense for a punt block for a touchdown. You have everybody checking their league rules. I checked mine, of course, which I'm sure Pilk will be doing the right thing if it's not, and I'll get the credit for the 6 points. Like I would do the same, obviously, but they haven't credited Dallas a touchdown yet for a blocked punt for a touchdown. It was clearly a blocked punt. It was clearly a special teams touchdown, and ESPN Fantasy app has released the final results for the week. The matchups are over, quote unquote, but they have not given Dallas their 6 points.
This is a worst case scenario. This is a nightmare. You can't like in such a critical week going off of the even into the odd number where everyone's either 4-5 or 5-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your record, everyone's bunched up in our league and the honey pot. It's 8 people at 4-5 and 5-4. You got 2 up top and 2 below that, but it's 8 people. And this is something that you have to be able to get right immediately. There has to be the stat correction. There has to be the clear, concise statement released. Everyone knows how big that these things are in these type of moments, and it's inexcusable. If you
I don't know, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to understand major programming when it comes to having to have an app and all that crazy stuff, right? But my problem is they haven't even addressed it yet. Because they could easily post a message on the app when you open it.
That's what I'm saying. The statement should have been out.
Yeah, it should be because we rely on your app.
They released a statement immediately after in the following morning of the DeMar Hamlin thing. Whenever all that happened, ESPN released a statement that blanketed everything. So I just don't know why they can't do it whenever it's a little egg on their face. You guys missed it. And like if everyone's clamoring for it, then put out an explanation statement of why it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And like that way you can at least put it to bed. So then there isn't this negotiation between you and Pilkington or somebody else about what's going on because there's no definitive clear cut other than the fact that it's a block punt for a touchdown. It kicked off the guy's face mask, rolled into the end zone. They landed on it. That's a block. That's a touchdown. That's 8 points. That's easy. That's black and white to me. And for doing this, as long as we have, these moments don't happen very often. I've only seen one stat correction, and it was back whenever like the championship week was like right there on Christmas or whatever, or before. And there was a stat correction like the morning of Christmas, like in like 2016 or something like that. That's how long it's been since I've seen a stat correction like really come out and mean something like that. It's a long time.
It's usually a yard or two. And
right.
And anyone, I was showing my phone, obviously, and anyone was looking like, the matchup for me heads up won't matter, but we have so many side bets and so much side action that those 6 points, it could be an extra $500 for me, right? So
not just that, but TJ's also skated by the last couple weeks by a point or so.
Yeah,
and it's been those.
It sucks. It really pisses me off is that I lost to Tyson after that score correction. I'm gonna lose to Tyson by like 10, right?
Yeah.
And good game, God bless, whatever. But Gibbs and Tyrone Tracy got me like 8-10 points combined. Gibbs got 4 points. And now you start looking at it, and I'm like, actually, I might have lost to Tyson by 8. And you're like, man. Now, he had guys shit to bet also, right?
Right.
But it's like, I'm not even making excuses. But then I start looking back. I'm like, God damn, like Gibbs gets me 4. Tyrone Tracy. And you know what's crazy about those two teams is like those guys, when they're on the field, Tyrone Tracy, their offense looks better. Giants had an amazing first drive. Tyrone Tracy looked great to start the game.
Yep.
Then, inexplicably, they took him out.
Yeah.
And we don't know if he missed a block, and we don't really know. But all I know is Tyrone Tracy was in the game. They marched the ball down the field. He was an integral part of that offense. Then they took him out, and they couldn't move the ball.
Couldn't move the ball.
Let's talk about, I don't want to like lose track. Let's talk about the Monday night game, right? So the Dallas Cowboys, your Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to let you vent on that in a second. We'll talk about Survivor later too. We'll tease that. But the Cowboys' first drive, they march right down the field. I mean, it is like they look.
We're literally dancing right down the field. Like,
Yep.
And I'm over here watching it thinking, okay, we're about to score a touchdown. So I walk off because obviously I'm busy.
Yep. And they get a little unlucky. They had like a drop, no big deal. It's a 4th and like longer, right? It's like a 4th and 4 or 4th and 5 in the red zone. Very hard to get. My dad and I are sitting on the couch. I have the Cowboys and Survivor. I'm like, all right, we're up 3-0. Schottenheimer decides to go for it. They get stopped. Changes the whole game. Changes all the energy. Take your 3. This is your season is on the line here. It's early in the game. Let Dan Campbell be Dan Campbell. You be who you want to be. I don't give a fuck what analytics said. Analytics said, oh, it said go. That's bullshit. Early in the game, you take your points. It changed everything. Then Bland, I keep on thinking because my dad's like, who is that corner? I go, that's the corner they decided to pay instead of keeping Parsons. I know the contract is different. I'm not saying that they were going to.
No, I know exactly what you mean. The way he got shook, he fell for the play action fake. And CD Lamb's face is going viral with the ooh phase because Deron Bland was looking in the backfield, got shook, wasn't sure if he was going to go to a post, and then ends up cutting in front of him or in the fade. Instead, he cuts in front of him, and he falls on his ass and just gets like shook out his boots.
My lead pipe lock was under 54. We hit that easily. If you ever see a number over 53, over 52, just take it. Take the under and count your money later. That over under was egregious. Slam dunk. We're 14-11 on lead pipe or 15-12. I don't know. But the Cowboys, Schottenheimer totally killed their momentum. It's okay. I prefer coaches go for it on 4th down when you have an option to punt, right? I understand that. Don't give them the ball back. But when you can take your points early in a game, take your 3. Everything's going to be okay. And it ended up, there was another point during the game they could have taken 3 points too. And you're just watching.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Do you think that Schottenheimer is under the belief, and you said that the media was giving us shit all week about our defense. Did he fall for the own lore as well that our defense is so absolute trash that he felt he had to go for 7 because he knew that there was no way that we were going to stop them on our defense?
Yeah, I don't think so. Eberflus honestly put your guys in some good spots yesterday. You can't control Bland falling over. I know Marvin Harrison is a superior athlete, and it was great to see him going. But you can't tell me
his eyes were in the backfield. That's why he wasn't focused on him, and he only gave him a quick little move. It wasn't even anything that we hadn't seen before, dude. And that's why I'm like, CD, shut the fuck up with your facial reaction. Like,
Yeah, he
yeah, it
kind of
sucks. And I know that you're over here talking about this is a guy you go up against, and maybe you cook or don't cook, or maybe he gets you whenever you practice. But it's just one of those things. You're not wrong. And it was a game from my perspective where I saw a lot of miscommunications. There was a George Pickens play. Dak's rushing to the right. George Pickens is right there. He goes to throw him the ball, and Dak wanted him to go upfield. There's nobody behind him, and Pickens is just running to the sideline, and he throws it over his head, expecting for Pickens to turn upfield, and he didn't give him the go up, but you could tell it was the communication. And then you see it go over, and Dak's like telling him, "Bro, you got to go upfield. There's nobody there." CD literally had the same play later in the game, and caught like a 35 or a 40-yard pass because he just went upfield.
My dad and I also talked about that play. That was a bad throw by Dak, and Dak was trying to cover it up by Pickens was rolling with them, rolling with the zone.
I saw exactly what you mean, but literally, whenever they showed it, he could have trickled up. And instead of just hammering to the sideline, that's all I'm saying.
But if you're going like this, you throw the ball here. Like, it was just a bad throw, and he tried to blame it on Pickens. Like, Dak, his mechanics were all weird, and the ball sailed on him, and then he was like, "Oh, Pickens, go."
It definitely looked like it sailed, and I'm sitting there looking at the open field thinking, okay, he definitely could have gone upfield. Dak sails it. All right, cool. Then you still don't have Dak turning the ball over. You get an uncharacteristic fumble by Ferguson, goes across the middle, tries to get extra, gets blown up, ball starts bouncing all over the place, right? And then Javonte Williams, it's a dead play. You're already down for a loss or like a no gain.
I know.
And you're fighting for yardage with like 3 people draped all over you. And you think this is the move that you're going to break out and run it to the house. So you end up fumbling that too. 2 awful fumbles in 2 situations that we definitely had to score, right? Talking about another 4th down that you're talking about where we could have potentially taken points, whatever. And Dak goes and he throws it to CD. It's just like CD jumps in the air and the ball takes forever to get to him.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't run back towards it. I get it. And everything's just so bang, bang in football. But like Dak didn't get all of it on it. He couldn't step into it. He got hit. Like sweat was right in his face, right? And so the ball, he kind of short arms it. It hangs. They knocked that ball away. Another 4th down to CD. CD's pouting. He's acting like he's competitive and upset. He had opportunities as well. He had another drop. I mean, just like, bro, nobody, it is, sure, coaching accountability, player accountability. The fact is, everyone thought, and they're saying that the Cowboys were more confused about who we are than ever right now. I think I know exactly who we are. We suck against good defenses, period. The Cardinals had 5 losses by 4 points or less. This wasn't a fact that the Cowboys were supposed to go in and outscore the Cardinals. This was a fact that the Cardinals were unfortunate with quite a few of their games, and they were the better team, 100%. They let Jacoby Brissett come in and get 3 total touchdowns, runs one in, and then throws a couple. McBride, Harrison, they're weapons. Those guys are studs on any team. He's a serviceable guy who can get the ball out, and we're not getting a pass rush, you know? And so you let somebody come in.
You had some sacks.
At late, though, right? They were more late than anything.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple good I thought the defensive line played pretty good. I can be honest with you. I mean, Bland got embarrassed. I don't even to me, him falling wasn't even the worst.
No.
He had like 2 3rd and longs that Marvin Harrison, like 3rd and 18.
He was on the sideline. He just ran right around him. He couldn't keep up with him on any play, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's really hard to play defensive back in the NFL. I'm not arguing that. But just don't take the $20 million a year and claim that you're anything but a below average cornerback in the NFL. And I think Eberflus kind of, I don't know. Also, I don't think Jerry Jones was kind of talking like, all right, Cowboy fans, don't worry. We got some trades in the works, right?
Right. We went out and got Logan Wilson.
Jerry Jones was saying that, though, assuming they were going to win at home versus Arizona against a backup quarterback, right?
Right.
And for them to get embarrassed and to be down 2 possessions the whole game, and like what you said, the block punt, like take that away, it's even worse. You know what I mean? And yep, Dak did not look great, but Pickens and CeeDee Lamb kind of did their thing.
I mean,
And
Dak threw for 250. They were the eighth stingiest defense in the league. He
yeah,
threw for
Arizona.
250 and a tutty. Like
That's
he
why
didn't,
I
it
like
wasn't the
the
sexiest performance by him, especially with standards that we've seen him go nuclear, where he throws 3 touchdowns all in a row before he gets shut down last week, right? So I
yeah.
get all that, but you have to come out and, like you said, you got to take your points. You got to show congruency in your offense, and knowing that your defense isn't performing at least up to that point, give them a little bit of a lead. And the fact that you just went out there in that first possession, as you talk about, and you just come up with nothing. The defense
Come up with
doesn't.
nothing, man.
That's not a good mental look for the defense. They're like
No.
here thinking about it, like, all right, well now we got to go shut them down again. And the fact that it could have really got out of hand. It was like 10 points or whatever, and it could have. I think it was maybe 14. It could have gone 21. We could have gone down big time, and we actually stepped up a little bit. And our defense kind of played and gave us a couple of late chances, and we still couldn't do anything. So, like you said, the defense didn't play the worst. We had some really
No, the
bad
defense
moments.
did not play bad.
We're the second worst D in the league behind the Bengals. Obviously, we'll talk about that game in a minute. But it's one of those things. The Cowboys played good enough to win. We held them to enough points where we should have played good enough to win, right? Like we held them in check for a defensive performance. It was 27 points. It was under 30. As a Cowboys fan, you got to know we got to score over 30. We got to hold them under 30, and that's about what we're looking at, right? And we couldn't do either of those.
Also talking about Arizona a little bit, Marcus Spears made a good point that Kyler Murray is that point guard that needs to score 30. And if he doesn't score 30, he's not going to be happy. And Brissett is like Jason Kidd, where he can go out there and score 8 points, but have 13 assists. And like you really saw the matchup nightmares with McBride and Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, and I'm being hard on Bland, and I'm being hard on him because he's like, he got paid as a number one corner. And Jerry Jones wanted to pay him and a couple other pieces instead of paying a pass rusher, right?
If you're getting paid as the number one server at your job, then there's going to be expectations for you that you have to meet because of all of the things that you're expected to do.
Exactly, right? And you can't be dropping trays on people. And Bland looked bad. He just wasn't up to snuff at all. And it wasn't him just falling. That was the icing on top. It was that
50-yard play that went down the field too. Whenever they came out right after halftime and just go right on down the field, Bland gets cooked again. I mean,
was that on Bland too? Oh, that was on Bland. You're talking about one of the worst games I've ever seen by a cornerback. Let's start breaking down some of these games. The Ravens went into Miami, right?
People who thought Miami had a chance. I mean, it was cute. Miami had no chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's again one of those things where like the Dolphins had a really bad fumble early. You felt like Tua was kind of moving the ball a little bit, but like he threw for 261. Waddle looked good. Malik Washington did okay, but they couldn't close. And Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry did what they do. The Dolphins have been soft. Judkins ran all over them. Derrick Henry ran all over them. The Dolphins are finally conceding the season, right? They fired their general manager.
Yep.
They're getting rid of some players that are in demand for, they got a 3rd-round pick for Jalen Phillips. So I thought that was a good play.
Sure.
That was a good move. But Lamar Jackson came back and, they're putting the league on notice right now, right? The Ravens have a very easy 4 or 5 games coming up.
Right. That division is definitely up for grabs right now.
It's wide open. The Steelers stepped up, obviously beating the Colts. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, not much to say about that game, right? I also misinformed you. I meant to tell you, I thought Mark Andrews had 3 touchdowns. You were –
yes.
And it was only 2. There was another big white tight end that caught the 3rd one that I assumed it was Mark Andrews, but I apologize.
Which was either way to beat Sean Munson, and I hope he's watching. Nothing sweeter than to have Mark Andrews, his own tight end from his favorite team, just put it right to him with only 2 catches, both for touchdowns. And that was kind of the difference of the game as well. And I'm glad I did start Drake May over Dak Prescott. Wasn't the greatest difference, but it was definitely a couple of points right there. Got lucky. And Sean Munson, you suck. That's the greatest. It's awesome.
You got Bills on Parade asking a question. Why do you think the Bengals traded Wilson away? I mean, I don't even. Yeah, the Bengals defense is so bad.
The last 4 years, Wilson had 100 tackles, and this is the first year that they started to limit his playing time. And so the Cowboys saw a dude that was capable with a very porous defense, and we were like, "Sure, we'll take him. You're not playing him? Yeah, we'll take him." And he literally, isn't that crazy? He goes from the absolute worst defense to just one notch up to the Cowboys.
It's not a personnel decision for the Bengals. It's a culture. You got to start. Hey, are we going to the playoffs? If not, we have to build towards the future, right? And I just think that that's what they're doing. That's what the Dolphins are doing. The Cowboys, for some reason, are buying when they need to be selling also, right? Because they're not going to the playoffs either, right?
No, yeah, we're after that, dude. We're so done. There's no way.
I believed in them. I believed in them because I've watched every play of the Dallas Cowboys this year, and I thought they were good. But they got steamrolled at home versus Arizona with Jacoby Brissett, who that was his first win, I think, this year too.
You know, the only way, and I'll say it right now, and obviously this is why you play the game, but they got a bye week, and then after that bye, you get like the Chiefs and the Lions. Like the schedule is not favorable coming up. If they somehow pull these next 3 games out, sure, but there's no way that we're stopping these teams. You got like the class of the NFL that we're about to go against. We're about to get cooked, bro.
You guys are getting stopped now too, right? So Overman, yeah, the Seahawks look good. Seahawks look scary. Sean, I don't know if you just joined the show, but ESPN app still hasn't given me the Dallas Cowboy touchdown. The Twitter world, X, all social media is blowing up. But let's kind of rip down some of these games. Falcons at Patriots. Atlanta Falcons.
It was Raiders. It's Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs. That's who the Cowboys get. So bye week, Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs.
And that's got to really hurt going into a bye week.
And then Lions, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions. So the Raiders, you're going to Vegas. If you lose that game, you're absolutely done. But you have to go beat them, and they're limping. And then you get 3 of the toughest teams in the NFL: the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Eagles. So
the Cowboys are done, right? And
I just wanted to at least point that out. All right, go ahead. So we were talking about who?
Yeah, I'm just saying to go into a bye week after you just lost at home to Arizona, that's got to be the worst. That has to be like Schottenheimer did not get a 1 wink of sleep last night, and it was all because he went for it on 4th down early in the game. Changed the whole tune. Take your 3, buddy. Take your 3 early on. Build on that. Build on it.
Put your defense in a positive position.
Yep. Falcons at Patriots.
That game was a nail biter, dude. Drake London blew up, and that game came down. I didn't even see how that game finished. I saw that the Falcons had the ball. It was under 2 minutes, and it looked like they were on the New England side of the field.
Yeah, they missed the extra point, first of all. That
okay.
One.
Right.
And then the Patriots made a big stop. Travion Henderson kind of got involved, but supposedly Vrabel is not a fan of Travion Henderson, I've heard. And something's brewing there, but he did okay. I mean, he did
all right. Jennings still got a tutty, but he's getting work, and I love to see that, especially against, I'm not saying the Falcons are like the stoutest defense, but they're a decent defense, and that was a sweaty game. It's just nice to see Travion starting to get going. That's all.
I will say this. Can we finally say that Christian Gonzalez is not an elite corner in the NFL? He's gotten like this kind of image where he's like this elite corner because of his size and strength. But Drake London, I mean, some of those catches were very contested, but Christian Gonzalez is not an elite corner in the NFL.
Well, if Christian Gonzalez is an elite corner, then you got to put Drake London as top 5 receiver. You get what I'm saying? Like, because that's how much he fucking owed him.
Yeah. Bad. Yeah, he just roasted him. And Stephon Diggs was a little disappointing. I thought Diggs was going to have a big game. And,
sure,
it just didn't happen. Chargers at Titans. Titans start off the game with a defensive touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown. And they end up
Not
Still
finishing.
losing. The Titans
Not
can't move the
finishing.
ball. The Titans
So
cannot move the ball.
so people are saying, "Oh yeah, the Chargers, the Titans to no avail." Like, are the Titans closer than what we think, or are the Chargers worse than what they're appearing to be? Like, which is
So
it? Are the Titans better, or or are the Chargers worse?
for me, I don't even think it matters anymore because the Chargers lost Joe Alt.
I mean, that was a home number, right? We call that home dog, right? Chargers
Yeah,
lost Joe Alt. We call that number. That was a big line. It was definitely Chargers like double digits, if I remember, and
yeah, that's a
Titans
tough.
easily
Yeah,
covered, right?
yeah, the Titans easily covered. I mean, mainly because they had a defensive. You can't really, when you're betting, you can't account for a defense
Yeah,
and the special teams.
right.
If they got one, and the crazy thing is, the Chargers were covering that spread until late. But
Yes.
I can be honest with you, Cam Ward does not look good, and they
There's
just
a
don't.
couple throws. He was open. There's nobody there, and he was just ducking
They
them in the
can't move
route.
the ball, man. They can't move the ball. They can't run the ball. Just
All
to
right.
think you just let Vrabel go like that, it's all crazy talk. I
Let's
mean,
talk about the most exciting game of the whole weekend, huh?
yeah, Bears at Bengals. I mean, it was insane. 3 touchdowns scored in the final 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Colston Loveland 58-yard touchdown with under a minute left is just inexcusable by the Bengals. Like, there's 4 tacklers there, and they all just bounced off of him
You know what's
as he
crazy
like
though?
360s and runs through for the touchdown. Like, unreal. That play was just crazy to watch because it looked like he was spinning and all the players just like spun off him, bro. It looked
Yeah,
crazy.
like well, the safety didn't wrap up. You have to wrap
Right,
up. But the problem is that even if they wrap up, they're still in field goal range, which all
right,
they needed was a field goal.
right.
The Bengals got a crazy onside kick where it looked like they touched it early, but the Bears player hit the football hit the Bears' foot just before the Bengals touched it. And Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards. I mean, it was just all just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Um, yeah, Sean, I know, right? The safety tried to boomstick. He tried to hit stick him instead of wrapping up, and you gotta wrap up, man. You get like
Yeah, that's a big white boy coming down the middle. Coastal Loveland is not a small dude. That guy can take some impact. And
that
you
was his
saw him just
first
absorb
break.
that. They all hit high. Nobody went low. It's bad
Bears
tackle.
fans have been waiting for Loveland to have that breakout game, being a first round pick as a tight end.
Yeah.
When you're a first round pick as a tight end, you got to perform right away.
He's got Tucker Craft vibes. They got to use him right away. RIP Tucker Craft too. I had him in a couple leagues. Tied in 1 down for the year.
Let's jump to the Steelers at the Colts. This was a huge win for Pittsburgh. Daniel Jones. Remember we talked about on the show where I'm like, man, if you take Daniel Jones like first readout away, how is he going to perform? And the Steelers got in his face early. And when Daniel Jones
You were on the Steelers with me on this one, right? I like the Steelers on the outright win. I was calling it, right? Outdoors, Daniel Jones had 6 turnovers.
Yeah, it was bad. It was
That's
ugly.
a lot of turnovers, man.
And some of his interceptions, like there was one where he literally just hit the linebacker right in the chest, 4 yards down the field. And you're just like, man, it's one thing when you're throwing jump balls for interceptions, but it's another thing when you're hitting linebackers right in the chest.
And they were just literally going right through the line. It looked like Swiss cheese. You thought the Steel Curtain was the #1 defense back again, the way that they got right. And they were in Daniel Jones's face, sacking him. It made his life miserable. It looked like a one-sided dot. And crazy enough, they still only lost by 7. I mean,
yeah, that score it was never close though.
it was never close, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely the game that we all thought the Colts were coming down to earth. Steelers
Colts
defense. I was gonna say Steelers at home, get right game. The Colts are gonna have a couple of games like this, right? Like playing outdoors, playing away, on the road. These are the situations they're gonna have to grow in and continue to get better because not everything is that safety confines at your own house, Lucas Oil, and
Yeah.
it definitely was a different look. They did not look the same as the Colts that we've seen as the #1 team with the best record in the NFL.
And this is why you kind of see how important it is for the Colts to get that home field advantage, right? Because do you really see Daniel Jones going into like Buffalo or in Kansas City in
They're
the
a first
playoffs?
round out if they don't get a home game, right? Like,
Yeah,
unless if it's the right scenario. They look like if they go into Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, whatever it is, you just don't, or Foxborough. Like, I don't see them going in, like, get the whole Foxborough vibe that's outside in the cold in the playoffs. No way. It's not going to happen.
no, yeah, they're not. He's not going to outduel any of those big quarterbacks. He needs to be indoors. Jonathan Taylor needs to get going, and let's jump. Let's jump into Survivor really quick, right? Because this was a dagger for me. I had two entries. I had the Packers and the Cowboys. I
Ugh.
think the Packers at home, 2 touchdown favorites versus the Panthers. That should be a game where, I mean, and that's why it's a survivor pool, and it sucks to get knocked out like that. But I just don't see how Green Bay. I had Green Bay kind of pegged early on after watching them as a team that's not that they can maybe go to the Super Bowl, but they lose their number one target for Jordan Love.
I don't think
They
so, Overman. I think if Indy has to go into Baltimore in the winter, you're talking playoff football, dude. It's different weather from September, October. Like, it is not. I
I
don't
don't
think they beat
trust
the brakes off of them.
I don't trust Daniel Jones. Also, what were we talking about earlier when you take your three, right? Did you watch the Packer Panther game?
Yes.
With 11 minutes to go, the Packers had a 4th and 8 at the 11-yard or at the 13-yard line. A fourth and
Take
eight.
the three.
Take the three. It
Take
would
the
have been
three, man.
13-9.
These
With a
analytic
4
guys are
minutes to go.
ruining like just plain classic traditional football where you're just like, okay, we settle for three. Three is still points on the board, man. Like,
And also, it's the same thing where it's a very similar situation. You're going against the Panthers who they can't move the ball. Bryce Young at that point had like 70 yards passing. They can't move the ball. You take your three, you're down 13-9, and you kick off, you lock them up, then you get the ball, you score a touchdown, win the game. What
well, then
happened?
that field goal is obviously for the Panthers to tie and not to win. You know what I mean? And
Miss it because the Packers play different defense. They probably don't even get in field goal range because now the Packers have all the momentum. You're not playing on the heels of your feet. You're playing on the balls of your feet. You got momentum. You feel good about yourself. You have the lead. It changes everything.
how is it the Packers find themselves like you tie the Cowboys? Obviously, we're a joke right now. You lose to the Browns, right? And then here's another loss to the Panthers. Like, your losses aren't even losses. They're like the worst losses. They're bad losses, right?
Yeah.
They're
Green
bad.
Bay, they're just a team no matter what. I'm trending really down on Jordan Love. I don't trust him.
Yeah, but
I don't
how many teams did the Packers knock out in Survivor?
yeah, 7.
Seven, right?
So 20% of the pool. The Cowboys, there's 22 people left. Packers and Cowboys decimated it. And you're one of the 22, right? I think we have
I'm in there,
Tyson
baby.
and Ricky. So I would 100.
Ricky's in there, Tyson's in there, and I think Ricky's dad. I think we're the last three of our group, if I'm not mistaken.
Now let's talk about the Giants 49ers game. As a Giant fan, I watched this. It was real frustrating because we just decided not to cover Christian McCaffrey. I mean, we didn't game plan for Christian McCaffrey. There was no creative defenses that I saw.
Every time I looked up and I knew C-Mac was having a good game, and there it goes for another 40-yard run, like just like literally scampering up the sideline. I'm like, is nobody covering CMC? What's going on with the Giants?
It was real weird because he was so
Jackson
open.
Dart, though, is an auto start for the rest of the year, bro. You start that dude in fantasy, period, no matter what. Anytime touchdown cash for him. That was one of those things that, he's had 4 straight games rushing a touchdown. You gotta love that, right? I mean, that's a big deal and trying to make some money off of that.
I'm on the fence this week because I have I'll tell you my situation really quick. I have Jackson Dart at Chicago. You would automatically think that's an auto start because of what Flacco did. But as we know,
but it's in Chicago. That's it's not the same.
In Chicago. Or I have Bo Nix playing Thursday night versus the Raiders. What would you do there?
Man, I kind of obviously Bo Nix is the sexier matchup. I think that it's one of those games that the Broncos should allow Bo Nix to be featured and dominate. I like that game versus risking it. And I know it's on Thursday night. Like this week, I had to sit there and decide, was it Drake May home against the Falcons or Dak home against the Cardinals on a Monday night? And it was a Sunday one to a Monday night gap. And I didn't really like the time, but you take points early or late is really what it was coming down to.
Yeah.
I feel like in your situation, I like the points early. I like putting the pressure on him. I think Bo Nix is definitely going to score probably 3 total touchdowns. You're looking at 2 passing, 1 running is what I'm guessing out of that game. Against the Raiders on the road, you're hoping that they can make it somewhat competitive now that they got Brock Bowers cooking again, had a monster game.
I know, and that's
Welcome
my
back,
only
Brock
thing, right?
Bowers. So you're hoping that they make it competitive and that it's not just some blowout where the Broncos are needing Bo Nix. And I can see where you're kind of nervous, but I like that. I don't think it is a blowout where they don't need Bo Nix because it's an early game. It's a Thursday night game. It's not all the rest, right? Oh, I had an interesting thought for you. So Chris Santos brought this up, one of our loyal listeners. Santos, shout out for you. Have you thought of this? And I don't know why. I never really thought of this. How do all the scheduling managers give all of these teams these short weeks with these Thursday night games, but yet you can't plan a bye week properly around your Thursday night game to where after your Thursday night game or you had a bye week into your Thursday night game, so it just parlayed so much easier, like whenever you're doing these Thursday night games, instead of talking like you're talking about shortening entry. You know what I mean? Like, and instead you're putting a team out from Sunday to Thursday when you could be scheduling these games after bye weeks. So teams are always rested or they're always going into a time. So nobody's ever shortened. Have you thought of that before?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that. The problem is that you can't have bye weeks in like the first 4 weeks or 5 weeks, right?
No, sure.
You can't have bye weeks the last 4 weeks, right? So there's only 2 teams that play Thursday night, but there's more teams that have byes. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So there's what last week was 6 teams that had a bye week. Now, yeah, you could say don't have 6 teams that have a bye week.
That's what we're saying is the bye-mageddon can be controlled is like the way that they could do it. And the fact that I'm just saying it seems a little bit weird because I know how advanced we are with AI and technology. And you're telling me you can't plot a schedule out for the league and say we need to be down on injuries. We need less Sunday to Thursday games.
I know. But I mean, it's hard to tell because a lot of these injuries aren't because of short rests.
Sure.
It's like, right. It just feels like these injuries, like people's bones are snapping. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? Right.
Yeah. That's just the advancement of the athlete. And the visceral nature of the game.
I think with on Santos's point, they could always do better.
But anyway, so you're really decided on this Thursday night game. I like Bo Nix on it. That's where I
like
lean.
Bo Nix too. I was a little worried because I thought if Denver locks up the Raiders,
they showed fight though, right?
Yeah, the Raiders did last week, but do the Broncos?
What's the number? What's the number looking at right now? I know we're not on the Thursday preview, but
the Broncos defense, I could think, could shut them down. Broncos are favored 8.5.
So it's not a double-digit number. You would think that would be.
I'm going back and forth. The thing is, I have to start Evan Ingram and Cortland Sutton. So it's like, how do you start those guys without starting Bo Nix?
Yeah.
But I'm going to look at the Bears' weather too because I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe you kind of reserve it. It sucks. You got to make your decision on Thursday. And you're 5-4, right?
Yeah, I'm 5-4.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. Who are you playing this week?
I think Joe Corvelli or Sonny, maybe. Joe Corvelli or Sonny. It's a
Sonny's obviously more formidable than Joe's team right now, but yeah, these are the wins that you don't always play what you think is good. Maybe you play the individual matchup and see what they have going on and kind of like balance it,
Yeah, for sure. Let's kind of keep on breaking down some of the games that we saw.
Broncos, Texans, right? Broncos had that game like they were stagnant, couldn't get anything going at all. Texans had them locked up.
This is what Denver does, though, man. They score late and they're
the best fourth quarter team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they squeeze out these games. And what'd you think about the CJ Stroud injury, the slide? Did you think that was
it was all right? Number one, when you're a running quarterback, you got to be better. Okay, like if you're gonna risk it and run, you gotta like get down and slide. I saw Uninformed Fans episode segment yesterday. I didn't watch a lot of it. But I heard Tyson say that's not how you slide. That's not how you slide into home.
Yeah.
It's not how you slide into any kind of base. He just fell on his ass and like try to like get low. Like you can't do that. Like Dak even had at least one play yesterday where he slid and he was running up and they marked him down, but at least he like got down and he slid, avoided a hit. That should be the teaching, the coaching. This has to be the way going forward because these guys they have to hit low because they can't hit high. So they're coming in low. And you're trying to play this game where you're beating the marker and you're trying to beat the hit and you're trying to get down and give yourself up. And there's this cute game that Mahomes is so good at with drawing the flag. You get down before, so you get the flag. You know what I mean? There's all these little nuances into it. I thought the hit, he definitely got his bell wrong. It looked okay. I don't think it was any fault of the defender. They were trying to get the people in right away, and they were like, yo, he's done. You saw his hands get a little limpy. It was unfortunate to see, but like CJ Stroud, buddy, you got to get down right there. Like you got to get down a little bit earlier and protect yourself. And that game completely changed as soon as he went out, man. Davis Mills got him down the field a little bit, but that concussion was brutal. And not only that, but we know the nature of concussions. And you only get so many of these hits before it starts to really take a toll. And we know CTE is a real thing. And like you got players retiring at earlier ages now than ever, right? And they just know about how dangerous that the head traumas are. And even if you like get hit like that, the way his head snapped down and hit the ground, man, that was a tough hit. And the Texans were really starting to click. And you just don't know. Obviously, I think he can bounce back, but you don't know how he bounces back from something like that. Cobwebs, you know what I mean? Like your confidence. Next time you got to get out there and go run, like, are you gonna be confident where, are you gonna be a little scared? Are you gonna run the same? Like those things start to creep into your mind a little bit, man. I don't know. I didn't think it was any fault of the Texans. I just thought it was like CJ. I was disappointed to see him not take better care of himself because you got too many other guys out there getting lit up. He's not even like as big as Jackson Dart. He's not running people over. Like what are you doing, man?
Yeah, you just got to slide earlier, and if you're not going to slide, you got to dive. But he cost his team a win because if he was healthy, they win that game. That's for sure.
They win that game, man. And you've just seen too many quarterbacks take these hits like Tua Tagovailoa, and like you just can't do it, bro.
Minnesota at Detroit. This is another surprise.
So, all right. So we talked about this and how all the sharps, right? Like all the sharps, how they're all over JJ McCarthy. And this is like, the betters, all the sharps were on this. And we were like, we don't see it. JJ showed the moxie. JJ had a swag about him, right? He was like in there in Detroit, throwing it in their face. He was talking shit, bobbing his head, hitting his defenders, like going by defenders, looking at him, talking shit while he's going to his receivers. I thought he looked good.
I mean, he threw for 143 yards, and he was around like 55.
Right, you're not getting the fact like he's throwing the ball around the yard. You feel like he's, what did you say, like kind of the Jacoby Brissett thing? He's all right with taking his points as a point guard. He doesn't need to go out there and to score 40 to feel good about himself, right?
Yeah, he could distribute it around him. And let's be real, McCarthy has played 4 or 5 games, right? He's at least shown a few of these games that he can manage a team to a win. And, this is a guy that I think Minnesota is going to make their bed with him, obviously. And he's going to be the quarterback, barring health, for the next 3 years. And at that time, they'll know if he's the guy or not.
What's going on with Jordan Mason?
Yeah, he doesn't look. I mean, I guess it's Aaron Jones' backfield. I'm not really sure. I think
Aaron Jones is back, but
yeah, Jordan Mason.
Like Jordan Mason's been trending down these last few weeks, and they're supposed to hang their hat on the running game and defense, which is McCarthy's best friend.
Yeah, for me, Jahmyr Gibbs was a big disappointment this game as a fantasy owner. I just don't understand. Let's look at his carries. I just don't understand how when you don't give Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs had 9 carries and 3 catches for 3 yards. I don't understand that when you get Gibbs involved, you win the game. When you don't get Gibbs involved, you lose the game. So how about you get Gibbs involved? Every time I saw them handing off to Minnesota, it was like halfback dive. I didn't see one play where Gibbs is in motion or, like I'm watching Christian McCaffrey. Everything is in space. Everything is in space with McCaffrey. With Gibbs, they're handing the ball off to him, and he's running right into his own offensive line. That's the play call. I just don't get it. It's so frustrating as a Jahmyr Gibbs owner how Montgomery is out touching Gibbs. When Montgomery out touches Gibbs, you lose the game. When Gibbs out touches Montgomery, you win the game.
I got this one league that I was like so thin at running back, and I ended up grabbing like Gibbs and I grabbed Montgomery. So I like double stack them like every week.
Yeah.
And it's always like the hedge, you know what I mean? Because if as a Gibbs owner, do you think you want to go make a play for Montgomery before the trade deadline? And like you don't even want to do it. I'm okay with doing it because you're going to lock up that whole backfield. Now, I don't know if you got enough on your team because of injury to be able to make a fair trade because Montgomery's value is going up right now and Gibbs isn't going down. You're just saying that you're just not going to ever get a return what you want for Gibbs, and you're probably going to have people overprice you on Montgomery, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't make that play. Montgomery had a fumble too. Like Montgomery didn't have a very good game. He had a touchdown, but he did not have a very good game. That Minnesota defense kind of stifled them. Goff threw for almost 300. Laporta had a huge game.
Jameson Williams was getting involved late after a couple drops. He had, few catches and a tutty.
A late touchdown. Yep. I mean, not a horrible loss for Detroit, but I'm excited for next week because I know that Gibbs is going to have 20 carries. Yeah. And I know they're going to – it's also weird that they don't give Gibbs the ball in screen passes. And I'm like –
you got to be throwing it. You got to – Gibbs should have at least 5 setup pass plays for him schemed every game, if not more.
And this year, a lot of Gibbs's catches are Goff's desperate, and he just throws it.
Just check downs, which is unbelievable when you have a weapon like that.
For 3 yards. 3 catches for 3 yards. How is that?
And I just don't know why. If Gibbs should never come off the field. If Montgomery's in the backfield, Gibbs should be lined up in the slot. So I don't know why you're taking Gibbs off the field and doing this like rotation. When Montgomery's touching the ball in the backfield, Gibbs should be a receiver. When Gibbs is in the backfield, Montgomery should be a receiver. Like, you guys just need to figure it out.
And I get it. Like, I think they're trying to, in some way, protect Gibbs because it just looks like the Lions are going to be in the playoffs and you want to use him sparingly so he's healthy late maybe. But don't do that and lose. If I was a Gibbs owner and you took Gibbs out when you're up 2 touchdowns, then I understand that. But when you're losing, you got to put your best foot forward. And it's just frustrating to see that.
And it's a divisional loss, so that counts as 2 games. You know what I mean?
When the Lions lose. We already talked about the Packers, Panthers. I just can't believe LaFleur did
right. And that whole division changed, by the way, because Minnesota winning and Green Bay and Detroit losing, that whole division is like switched up. It's crazy.
And then we have Jeff, who would have Jeff has this crazy, our friend Jeff Schneider, this crazy $5 bonus bet for 120,000, and everything is lining up. And the ones that he might get screwed on are the Packers winning their division and the Chargers winning their division. Both this week took brutal blows. Chargers won, but they lost Joe Alt. Yeah. That could be devastating. And then the Packers lose because LaFleur wants to be the cool riverboat gambler and, wants to, be Dan Campbell number 2.
I know, so stupid.
And not take your points.
Jaguars, Raiders, we already talked about. Jaguars, Raiders? I mean,
Brock Bowers looked great. The Raiders.
Bowers returned. You had the big news was Travis Hunter was out during the week, tore his or tweaked his knee, out on IR during practice, non-contact injury. So Brian Thomas Jr. again doesn't step up in a spot where he's very able to. Very disappointing. No Travis Hunter. BTJ still can't get off. You had
I'm pretty sure Brian Thomas Jr. left the game. He got hurt. Etienne, as a guy that just traded for Etienne, he looked great.
Yep.
He had a real burst. He got a little unlucky. He got tackled at the 1 yard line like 3 or 4 times.
We talked about it. We definitely loved, Etienne had a good chance to get right in this game for sure.
Yeah.
The Saints Rams loved all over it. I had the Rams and Survivor off a bye week. There's nothing sweeter in Survivor than knowing that you could just set it and forget it and watch them just come right out and just drop dimes all over the place. Stafford is probably one of the sneakier quarterback values in the entire draft now, leading the league in like passing yards and touchdown passes.
Yeah, and
He's
they're
got all
like
these weapons, and we knew he could do that, but now they got the running game going. Kyron Williams, they're using more Blake Corum. They got guys everywhere, man. They're a scary team.
Definitely the best team in the NFC right now, I think. And
I'm with you, man.
They're scary.
I think they're the team that's going to beat the Eagles that were on the doorstep last year.
Josh Allen at home beat the Chiefs. Not a surprise there, right? Josh Allen.
No, and isn't it weird how I think you said it, like it takes everything to go right for the Bills to beat the Chiefs. And the Chiefs have this awful game, and there's Pat Mahomes still with a chance to win. Hail Mary goes off of Thornton's hands. Like, it was not a great game. And you just know that if this game is in a neutral site anywhere else other than an Orchard, then the Chiefs probably win, right?
Yeah, for sure. I know we're motoring through, but something came up. I'm gonna have to run. But it's sad to see Jaden Daniels get hurt. This year was kind of a wash, anyways. It's his left arm. Thank God.
You know what's crazy though? It really wasn't. They were about to go to 400 or to 500. They were like 3-4 or whatever it was, their record. And all of a sudden, after this game, they go wrong side. Now they're 3-6. That's what it was. So they were 3-5, could have been 4-5, right?
Yeah.
And then you're right in the mix. And then as soon as you lose this game and everything goes that way, now you're done. Jaden Daniels is done. Looking at Mariota, you can't get McLaurin back. Krosky Merritt hasn't really popped.
Yeah, Seattle does look scary. Rams and Seattle are 1A, 1B right now, right?
Well, yeah,
look good, but I think Sam Darnold and the Seahawks pumped the brakes too.
They did. He came out and was 16 for 16 and just on fire all over the place, right? And they still got Charbonnet, Walker, nasty defense. Their head coach, Mike McDonald, right? Just absolutely just balling over there in Seattle, man. Just got the right setup. Everything looks good. Darnold is playing the best football of his career, looks like. Really locked in. Got an incredible receiving core. Horton's getting looks. Kupp wasn't even in there, and Torrey Horton was just balling. First 2 tutties.
Yeah, think about that now. Torrey Horton, you have a great running game with Kenneth Walker. You have a good defense. Sam Darnold looks good.
And the number 1 receiver in the league.
Yeah, number 1 receiver in the league. And now you have a great supporting cast with Horton and Cooper Kupp. Overman, Sean Overman, loyal listener, has been talking about Horton like before the draft. And that's the only reason I really knew of the guy. And I'm going to have to run, though. But, hey, great show, guys. Buff, always a pleasure.
Always, man. Prop stars, we appreciate y'all. That's our wonderful Tuesday edition. We'll be back Thursday and doing a nice preview. Obviously, Survivor's getting dicey. Got some great games. It's nitty-gritty. Playoff matchups, trade deadlines. Everything's happening. And a little bit of basketball. You know, it'll be sprinkled in there. But thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you, TJ. Good luck this week, man. Be looking forward to some of your shorts coming out talking about some action. Yeah, Prop stars out.
All right, guys.
Peace.